Street was always a family place. For one, we never locked our doors. If you were late or couldn't pay your rent, you got a rent party thrown for you. And people would donate to help you pay your bills.
I'd go to their house and eat one day, they come to my house and eat another day. We played together up and down the streets every day. Our parents went to work together.
Older people were never isolated and alone. They were always taken care of.
If the kids did something on, let's say, Tiffany Street, Miss Jones on Tiffany Street was calling Miss Mabel on Kelly Street, and they would watch your child. It was very common for the other mothers to spank your kids too. You know, they would beat your kid's ass if they saw their kid doing something wrong. And then you would go home and tell, and you would get another one because that's just the way it was. It was a village. Street was always a family place.
Right. So this is black neighborhood back in the 70s. And I know people like, well, damn, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between the 70s and the 80s? Crack. CIA, Ronald Reagan, Oliver North, Nicaragua, Contra scandal, Iran Contra scandal. Man, look, the so-called white man single-handedly destroyed the black neighborhood with that crack cocaine. Because cocaine, we couldn't even afford it. See what she said? We was doing rent parties. Everybody would come over your house and everybody would put something towards the pot so you can pay your rent. And in the midst of that, everybody partying, having fun, kicking it at your house because you need help with your rent. What happened? The white man. He like a virus. He sent the CIA through the black neighborhood and destroyed it. Destroyed our neighborhood. Like real talk.
That's a fact. Cause like, look, I remember I grew up. I was born in '85. Damn, I just show my age a whole lot. God damn. Well, I was born in '85, so I remember like a lot, it was still a lot of that going on in the early '80s too. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, let's say if you were down the street, and you got in trouble down the street, you got in trouble at home too. That was still but when the '90s hit in the early 2000s, it was over in the early 2000s. It was no more of that in the early 2000s. Like it was completely over. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't touch the kid, you couldn't touch the kids, you could barely even discipline.
I mean,
You couldn't even tell somebody else's child, no, you ain't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Without
you say something wrong to somebody else's kid, they don't want to y'all finna fight.
Right, kind. That's kind. Thanks.
Real talk, y'all finna box. It's cracking. Like real talk. But back then we had more discipline. The men was in the house, the women was in order. They was under their man. They had a voice, but they didn't have the voice that they thought they wanted, which is what they got now.
Right.
See, it's a voice they had back then that was good for the community. It was good for the house, but they wanted a bigger role, and the women got that bigger role, and look what happened. Look what happened in the neighborhood. They was able to sneak in with that crack and destroy it. You feel me? Destroy them kids, and we still suffering from it right now in 2025. The effects of that crack epidemic. That crack epidemic, we still suffering from. We still trying to bounce back. We still trying to get women in order. Still trying to get the kids in order. Still trying to get the young niggas from looking at each other like they ops. We suffering from that shit still, the effects of that.
Right.
Like real talk, because stuff wasn't perfect back then. That's what she was saying. You know, they had a village. That's what she kept saying, a village.
A village, right. Mm-hmm.
They all needed the help to keep everybody in line from going off. Now, we don't got no help. We don't got no help. And if you can go to 2 Peter 2:15.
Come. This the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse, you said 15?
Come.
And verse 15. which have forsaken the right way, and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Bozor.
All right, wait, and that's what happened. You feel me? We was doing good, but we wanted to do better. You feel me? We was doing good, but we wanted to do better. So we forsaken the right way. What was the right way? Staying together, staying segregated.
Right.
You feel me? That was the right way. If we would have stayed segregated right now in 2025, with all the stuff we done with the war on drugs, with the crack, the heroin, the hoes, the young niggas, with all the stuff, the bad stuff, think about all the good we done. Imagine how much more good stuff we would have done if we just stayed together. All our ideas stayed in-house. That would have been the right way. We'd be filthy rich right now. We'd be filthy rich. Real talk.
And it's like, sir, ain't we like the fourth or the fifth most spending nation on the earth?
Man, they say black people alone, not even counting the Hispanics and Native Indians, black people alone have a spending power of 1.3 trillion. They say that's more than some countries right now.
That's more than a lot of countries right now.
Superpower countries right now don't even got a spending power of 1.3 trillion dollars. And we got it right here in America. They're not counting Jamaica. We ain't even counting Jamaicans and the Puerto Ricans, the Colombians. We ain't even counting them. We just talking about black Americans. $1.3 trillion.
It's like it. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got the third highest spending power in the world.
Damn right.
So just imagine if we kept all that in house, kept all our ideas in house, and kept separated. You know how flourishing our communities would be right now.
Right, because a lot of the money that we spend, it don't just go to white people. We getting the heathens rich too.
So everybody else but us.
So imagine if we just kept it all ourselves. 1.3 trillion a year. Man, we'd be rolling in money. We'd be rolling in money. You wouldn't need to rap unless you're just doing it for fun.
For fun,
you wouldn't need to be an actor unless you just want to act for fun. You ain't got to do it like to destroy your life and to go to Diddy parties and stuff. You wouldn't have to do none of that.
So like I said, there would be no need for a Sexy Red.
No.
Or a Nelly to defend a Sexy Red, because there would be no Sexy Reds.
Damn right.
Salakia.
That's a fact.
Who love the wages of unrighteousness.
Right, and that's what happened. We had wicked leaders, and they loved the wages of unrighteousness. We had wicked leaders. They wanted to be able to go to the Gucci store, the Louis store. Well, most importantly, they want to fuck white women.
Right, facts.
I'm just keeping it real with you.
Facts.
That is the real biggest downfall.
That was Martin Luther King's dream, wasn't it?
Yes, that was his dream. He had a wet dream. So like
he had a pegging dream, like
he was pegging. He wasn't begging, he was pegging. Like real talk. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, that's stupid. But it's the truth though. And we had leaders like that. We had leaders like that, and they wanted to have sex with white women, and them wanting to have sex with white women destroyed our communities, man. They destroyed us. You know what I mean? And look what we got now. But thanks to the ISUK and the Commander Hunter, we're gonna rebuild it back. We're gonna get it back together. You feel me? Right. The world called Jesus Christ.
That's
you
right.
Feel me? That's tonight's podcast. Tune in every Wednesday, 9 o'clock. You feel me?